loading snacks.
What it do, snackers, snackette, and snack F. It's your boy Gabe. I'm here with jokes. Oh no, he got us all kicked out. That was
man.
incredible.
Oh,
Look, it's your boy Gage. I'm here with Frosty and Jokes. Sin, I think, will be back. You know what I mean? He should be joining us, hopefully. There's Sin.
there he is.
Let's see how many times I go through this.
We'll find out. It's time for another episode of Spoiler Boys.
Spoiler
boys.
And we are here to spoil episodes 1 and 2 of Star Wars The Acolyte, the new show on Disney Plus that went live earlier this week. And I've been hearing a lot of back and forth about this show. I'm hearing good, bad, ugly, indifferent, best thing since this, worst thing since this, which there's a lot of Star Wars stuff, so it certainly could fit into either one of those categories. So here's the thing. Before we get started with this, I'm going to tell you where I sit, and then we'll go around. Usually I wait till last. I'm just going to tell you where I am right now. I am currently lukewarm with high expectations. That's where I'm at right now. I don't want to give a grade yet, but we're going to go around. Jokes.
Mm-hmm.
After having seen the first 2 episodes, and before we get into details, where are you? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling okay. Like I'm kind of where you are. I'm a little lukewarm. I'm interested. I like certain elements that are starting to we're piecing together the show as we go forward. I mean, we're only 2 episodes, obviously, but I like what I'm being presented, but I need more.
Okay. Zigzag. Frosty. How are you feeling?
I'm obsessed with this show. I've been waiting since it was announced and they started saying like Sith, like heavily involved. And then I watched trailers for it, which y'all know I don't do trailers.
Yeah.
I am all about this. And even watching the first 2 episodes, the first one's like, I rewatched the first one today. I didn't have time to rewatch the second one. It's a little slow to start, definitely. But I'm still on the edge of my seat through both episodes, even on a rewatch for the first one. So
I dig it. Sin.
I'm intrigued by it, and I'm wanting to see if they're going to be able to stick the landing on this. Certain ways I thought things were going to go after the first episode, I was excited about, and then getting into episode 2, I became a little less excited because certain things weren't necessarily going the way I was picturing it going. So it was like, okay, let me reel it back and let me just see how it's going to go from here and if they can stick this. So right now, I'm enjoying. Like, I love a good revenge story, so I'm all here for it. It's just how's it all going to turn out? You know what I mean? So I'm with it right now.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys this.
Mm-hmm.
How do we feel about attacking this from the perspective of just kind of freely getting into both episodes as opposed to going episode 1 and then episode 2? Are you all okay with kind of handling it that way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think what I really want to do is just kind of get into the crux of where we are. And since they released both episodes together, I'm just kind of like, we can attack it that way. We can kind of talk about it more or less as a whole. I'm still a little bit unsure about exactly what the purpose, business or otherwise, of putting out a show that is episodic that we're doing week to week and dropping the first 2 episodes together. I'm not exactly sure why they're doing it that way. I have thoughts. They're not necessarily tied to Star Wars, so I'm not going to get into that. But I just feel like if they're doing it that way, let's attack it that way. Let's treat it like this is what the drop is. It is episodes 1 and 2, and kind of treat it like one thing. So I kind of want to piggyback a little off of what Frosty said. I think that it starts kind of slow. It doesn't seem like it because we basically start
in a fight.
Yeah, and murder.
Yeah.
The Jedi.
Yeah. But not a child. Or not a parent
Not this time.
Not a parent in front of a child. I am highly looking forward to whatever flashbacks they are giving us, because I'm going to tell you right now, if Carrie Ann Moss, they have been putting her in front of people and sitting her down and doing interviews or whatever, and she was in like the first 30 seconds of the show, and I was like, well, that's it for that.
It's only two things: either she's not dead or she's in plenty of flashbacks. Because come on,
and listen, I'll be real with you. When she took the kunai to the chest, I thought it was just okay. That didn't look so serious. And then the thing about poison, of course, once we learn a little bit more as we get into it, I was like, oh, she's good. She's just gonna get up and just walk that off. And then she just fell. And I was just like, oh,
was that what you thought? I definitely didn't think that.
I didn't think that one. Like there was a little blood, and I was like, oh, now that she gonna get up and walk off. And I was like, oh, damn, no, I'm far from right on that.
I was thinking about the fact that in a lot of the previews and trailers and stuff, you don't see her in a lot of other spots. So it's like when you think back on it, you're like, oh, yeah.
She's not really in this.
She's not really going to make it far here. And then especially when they come in and that's the first scene.
Yeah.
Like you might think that fight's happening later on in the series. Like, nope. Right out the gate. They gave us the first scene at the end of the Phantom Menace. Like,
yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be the picky me that I am. If you start a show with a fight, all of the fights better. Like that's what you're telling me. This is you are setting the pace, right? We're not talking about the characters yet. We're not talking about who they are, however they are, how whatever. If you got hands, if you start a show, a movie, a series, if you start with a fight, there better be fights all through this, because that's what it is. That's what the training I expect to be. This is what, right? And I'll be honest, I wasn't super impressed with what I saw when I saw the fights. Now, I will say I like this is not the kind of combat we have ever seen in Star Wars before. And the idea of a more forced, see what I did there? Hand-to-hand combat situation. Again, something you just don't get. And so I have a high appreciation for that. And then learning, like later on, like, oh, part of this is like you have to kill a Jedi without using a weapon. Well, you failed already once, but like, okay, I kind of like there being a reason, like there being something else. Like we don't always have to go
objectives there, like a video game.
Like there's
those extra objectives to get the bonus points.
There's some rules that have been put into place that like this is what and how you have to do this. And so I do enjoy, I feel like that established a really important base. And I'm gonna be honest, I feel like there's for lack of a better way of saying it, I feel like this might be witness protection. Like I feel like this is a thing that has been assigned and you need to kill a Jedi without a weapon. And I feel like they're never gonna touch that. Like it's like I feel like whether it happens or doesn't,
Right,
whether
like the explanation
for why that has to be a thing, I
Mhm.
don't feel like they're ever going to tell us, and
Yeah.
that's gonna piss me
Oh yeah.
off. It's gonna piss me off. I need like this show exists in a space we've never been able to explore in film.
Screen, yeah.
And they could do anything. They can tell any kinds of stories they want about whatever. So it's wide open. And that's probably the thing that I'm most excited for with what this show can be. But if you do something like that, like if you establish a rule, one of the things that Star Wars has that I think is an issue for it is that Star Wars has this thing of establishing rules that then don't really exist or aren't really a thing. They'll say something and it's there in one movie, and then they may even bring it up later on, but it's like that's not really real.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of storytelling that I feel like needs to be fixed within Star Wars as a whole, and I think they have an opportunity to do it. If you tell me, all right, in order for you, and again, I don't know why that's a thing, but maybe that's what it is. In order for you to officially become an apprentice or officially become a Sith, you have to kill a Jedi with no weapon. And that has me so that is the reason why I'm watching this show now. I want to know why. It's literally the most important thing to me. Because all the rest of it is stuff I already know. I understand the Force. I understand lightsabers. I understand light side. I understand dark side. I'm cool with the twin thing. And the, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm cool with all of that. Tell me why there's a rule. Because otherwise, the truth of the matter is, she'd be bodying these Jedis. It would be over. She could just literally be on a murdering spree, and it wouldn't make a difference. So the fact that there's a rule that is like holding her back right now is the most important piece of this entire story. It's not the fact that she's a twin. To me, it's the why is there a rule? Because she could just go on a spree.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't.
I think it's a step in training. So it's the Acolyte can't kill a Jedi using a weapon, and you can't kill them with a weapon or a laser.
In order to become the Acolyte, or as an Acolyte?
I believe she is an Acolyte. Based on that's just based on the context of the speech he was giving.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I could be absolutely wrong. But it sounded to me like this was a test. It's one big test for her. So that would be my guess.
Okay. How do we feel about the characters so far? Do we have a favorite?
I don't think I think we know Frosty's favorite probably. But, I personally don't have a favorite character as of yet. Okay. I
feel like you would have liked Yord.
Why? Because
Frosty. Are you Frosty? Put your eyebrow back down, evil. Like what?
Yeah, he's
I
okay.
I don't know, jokes. Yord just to me feels like your guy.
Guy.
I don't know.
Maybe I need a little bit more. Like I'm cool with the characters right now, but nobody has saying, "Oh, that's the one." I'm not at that point. Just hey, the little Palm Pilot droid that can't really do anything.
Sen, you got a favorite? Is there like somebody that stands out? Maybe not a favorite, but just like, is there a character that you're just like, I want to see more of that person or whatever?
I want to see somebody die. I can tell you that much. Yord, I can't stand him.
Yes,
I cannot fucking stand him.
Why?
Period. What? He annoys the hell out of me.
Oh, he's Cyclops.
Just I don't
following
know,
the rules, Captain America.
Yeah, he's
Leonardo.
one of them types. I cannot stand that dude.
Hey, Stan, you know what? The only
Only
reason
reason
why
why I'm willing to tolerate him a little bit is a yellow lightsaber. That's the reason why I can tolerate him a
that's,
little bit.
hey, listen, the only reason why, like right now, I'm okay with him has nothing to do with the fact that this is a Star Wars thing. It's only because he's in Chicago Fire, and I've seen him show up on
Chicago
Chicago
Fire. I
PD.
know.
That
I
that is
know.
it right now.
That's where I know him from. But right now in this show, I cannot stand that dude right now. Between that and hearing them talk about how Anakin, blew up the Death Star, like no. Yeah, like no,
Yeah,
dude,
I
I
Frosty.
stand with you
I
right now.
misspeak all the time about Star Wars. I'll let him have that one. Sometimes it just happens. But I can't stand his character. Him getting off the bed and like flapping back his jacket and being like, "Oh, Usha." Like, no. Get the F off my screen. Like,
I'm
I
gonna
love
punch him in the
that.
face
I
every
mean,
time I
yeah.
see him, Frosty.
I can't
look, here's the
stand
thing.
him.
I think if he doesn't die, he's gonna end up being so important for some reason.
Some
So
reason.
there's a couple of like theories out there. There's one that's gaining traction is that he's actually the bad guy. The
He
problem
turns
is
out to
that
be the
I
bad
don't
guy.
like him. I don't
I'm
like him,
good.
so I don't think he can be.
Look, if he turns and ends up being the bad guy, he could easily jump up to being somebody like, depending on how it's done.
Yep.
I
Hold
like me a
on.
good villain. It's all
No.
in
Wait,
there.
wait.
My
Walk
guy
it.
is Chimere. Chimere, I'm voting he is the Sith. We
The
call him Smiley.
poison
Potentially
dude.
a Knight of Ren. Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
He's so unassuming. Like he's like talks with a higher on a
Yeah.
higher tone and
Yeah.
totally just has that. He had that like air of arrogance when he got really close to OSHA. So that's my
It
guy
did
right
pop
now.
up a little bit. You mean when he was like, "You look just like her," like he
Yeah.
knew already, kind of thing, but didn't
Already, yeah.
like.
Yeah.
There was definitely something there that I
You
feel
could
like.
see his suspicion.
Yeah, but to me, I just feel like he's a really like I don't. He didn't come off to me like he's the one who's giving her assignments. He did, however, come off to me like he knows way more than he's letting on, and
I do agree with that. Yeah,
that to me felt because here's what was weird to me. It felt to me like he and OSHA both were in some manner working as acolytes, or like something like he's saying he's not force sensitive. I'm sorry. No. Yes. I'm sorry. May like that he like his desire to see her succeed is because of what? Does he have a crush on her?
Mhm.
Is it that he
is
because but it felt to me like maybe he is in some sort of a competition with her and maybe wants to see her fail. So like his eagerness to actually give her something that allows her to defeat the Jedi, but not do it in a way that is without a weapon, would keep her from attaining her goal. That also could make him the Sith who's assigning and just trying to kind of play both sides of her and be like, oh, well, you didn't like he's there to kind of egg it on and maybe see if she fails to do what she set out to do. Look, we're also in a place where, again, Jedi are so arrogant. I shouldn't say that. It's not that they're arrogant. They don't have any reason to think that there is someone who could be out to get them. It's not like
at this point,
it's not an idea of we're better and we're unstoppable. It's like there isn't anybody, so like we don't have to worry about it. So they have this.
Sounds pretty arrogant.
I wouldn't consider it that. I would consider it like feeling like you live in a very safe neighborhood. Like those neighborhoods where people just don't lock their doors, which to me is like I would never, right?
Never.
Their thought is like, no, there's evil can't brew here because we have done so much good that it can't. That's their whole thought process. Is they're thinking there's no way evil can the Sith can't be a thing again. They've defeated it. Like
Mhm.
I don't know if that's, I don't feel that way. I just feel, again, I just feel like they have allowed themselves a false sense of security. Like, so again, like it's, I don't see that as arrogance. I see that as just, like I said, like if you live in a place where people don't lock their car doors, people don't, you know what I mean? Like, and you just like, why did you, where's your purse? It's in the car. Why would you leave your
Why?
purse in the car?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like somebody's gonna break my window and go in there, and you're just
Mhm.
like, what do you mean? Like you don't even. It's just, it's not arrogance. It's like being oblivious. It's almost like, again, because you also have to keep in mind, right, that like, yes, there are Jedi, there are people who live like, these are alien races. There are people who live way longer than like what our human expectancies are. But you're talking about something that where like there haven't been those people in existence, or any kind of, there hasn't been any obstacle for thousands of years. So people are literally growing up in a place where they feel that kind of security, like they feel that safe. So it's not necessarily an arrogance. It could be considered hubris to some extent, right? But that's, you know, look, if a team goes on an undefeated run, gets to the championship and losing the championship, you still had an undefeated run, but you still
Mhm.
can lose in the championship, right? So like, I get it, right? But I don't necessarily think it's that. I think that it's just one of those things where, again, like Yord to me exemplifies someone who grew up in a place where, like, well, yeah, clearly there's nothing for us to worry about because we're the space cops, right? And I feel like a lot of police are like that all over the place, where they're just
Mhm.
like, yeah, I can go here because I'm a police officer, and so no one can do anything or would do anything to me. They wouldn't do anything to us. Plus, there's more. You know what I mean? Like it just is. You're talking about a group of people who have never had to deal with or apprehend or fight someone outside of any training they may do with each other to learn how to use the force and whatever.
Right.
They've never had to even attempt to apprehend someone who also can use the
Use the
force
force.
and might actually use it against them. So
Mhm.
like when they try to capture her at the end of the second episode, she doesn't attack them. She just literally uses it to kick up a bunch of dirt, and they're all like, how? Like the same way you would. But like, you know what I'm saying? But that to me again isn't, that doesn't come off as arrogance to me. That comes off as like somebody being like, somebody coming home from work and being like, my TV's gone. How could that happen? Slim, your door is
Doors
unlocked.
open.
Your door is unlocked. But the
You
police are
walked in
right
the
here.
house yesterday, fresh from the store. Like
Yeah, like you
they saw
took
it.
the box from your TV out and put it on the edge when your trash went out. So
Yep.
we know, oh, you posted you were going on vacation for 2 weeks on your Instagram. We know you're not home. Like it's
Time,
that kind of
place,
thing.
everything.
You just feel safe because technically you have been safe, right? So there are places where I would go that I wouldn't take any of you because I wouldn't feel like I could look out for any of you. That's how I feel about where the Jedi are right now. They're in a place like, you know, people go on vacation and like it's vacation. We're at a resort and nothing can happen. And like monkeys are stealing your
Take your
backpacks.
ass off that
Like you,
resort. Yeah.
like you know, just stuff you just never would think could happen. You haven't even been trained or prepared for it because you have no idea that it can happen because it's been thousands of years. We're
Mhm.
not talking like even a decade, but even in that amount of time, if you grew up that way, you don't think that way. So now, and again, that's one of the things I find exciting about this is because this is a place where the Jedi actually have to change their frame of mind. Even the rules that they follow when they're talking to each other, and it's like he's like, we know where they're going next. We need to go do
Got
that.
it. Mhm.
He's like, nah, we don't make decisions like that without coming back and talking to everybody in the council because we follow the rules. And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, but the rules don't really fit for what
They're
this is.
right. They're
You know what I
going
mean?
there,
Mhm.
and they may only be there for a few minutes, and then if we end up missing this opportunity to apprehend them now, we may never find them again. It's like so I need to go there right now so we can take care of this. Bring your ass home before the street lights come on.
You better. Yeah. You better be in this house when the street lights come on. Yeah, I want to talk about this May OSHA thing. I've heard rumors. Is there anybody who thinks that OSHA might actually be the dark one?
Oh,
No.
like flip flop than what we're saying right now.
Yes. Yes.
A
Yes and
thought
no for
like
me.
that. A thought like that had passed through, and I was kind of like, nah, I don't think they're going to do the flip flop. As much as we could see that, I think that could be a nice little turn of events, but I don't think they're going to do that.
Okay. What do you think the Jedi did to them? Did they try to kill them on purpose?
That was something that we debated on
Ooh.
Black Squadron. None of us could really come up with a real like solid idea, but one of the considerations was maybe they felt a darkness in that camp and they were trying to extinguish it, similar to what happened to Kylo from Luke. That was like the only viable idea that any of us could come up with.
So the way they've laid it out, just to kind of make sure that I have my story beats in a row, is that May set the fire, right? And not they tried to put the fire out, but they tried to get out whoever they could, and the only one they could save was OSHA.
But May didn't know that. So
right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, again, I will say for it, I certainly didn't think, because of the way that they were lining up for OSHA to be seeing May and having her kind of lead her on past that show what she was doing, I certainly wasn't expecting the twist that was like, oh, neither one of you know the other one is alive.
Yeah.
Right. I was definitely not expecting May to be like, you're lying. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
And so who knows the lie? Because it doesn't seem like anybody except for maybe whomever is training May actually knew that. It feels to me like that person lied to them and said, nah, your sister. Also, because the revenge that May is out for also seems to be specifically geared towards feeling like either that fire was set on purpose, or they left her to die on purpose, or again, not that she doesn't seem upset that she got left to die. She seems upset that OSHA died. So like, it almost feels like maybe like there couldn't have been some agreement where they were like, well, you take this one and we'll take this one.
The typical from I don't know.
Mean,
split them up. Yeah.
I feel like this is going to give us probably one of the either like weirdest turns or something that we're just not expecting. Like, I'm kind of in the boat where, yes, I do agree that something has happened, and either the Jedi or at least a certain amount of them are trying to keep it under wraps.
The one she's trying to kill.
The 4.
And I don't want to say like, because I feel like the twin thing, like I almost feel like that maybe like in this, obviously, you know how I'll go far fetched. I don't know if maybe at some point, maybe they actually aren't twins per se. And I don't want to say that they are each half of the same coin. So maybe the Jedi were trying to, obviously there's good and there was evil in this being, but somehow was able to split them into the good and the evil side. Like, I'm just throwing random out there for it.
People are throwing out the word dyad, kind of like Kylo and Rey.
Yeah,
kind of.
I mean, so here's the thing for me. I'm right now. My thought process is that there was someone in the family
Mm-hmm.
who the Jedi had that kind of a feeling about in some way. Like, because at this point, I'm like, all right, look, the statement was literally made. I saw her die.
Mm-hmm.
She don't have a burn mark on her. Like, there's nothing on her that even looks like she even got singed.
Yeah.
So what did he actually see if he went in there to save her? And like, he seems to actually believe that that's what he saw, right? He was only able to save Osha. He saw May burn and die. So like, if that's the case, who else was in there that also could have survived?
So
And is
in
that the person who's training?
in that thought like string as well, like he said that May started the fire, but maybe that's what they were told.
Correct.
And then whoever told them this,
You know what?
like put that image that of May dying in their head.
I'm just saying that he said he saw it. That's the only thing for me that is like,
In his
I'm
head.
somewhere in the vein of what Frosty just said and what Joke said about kind of being the same person. Because that was one of the things that threw me out by the end of by the time we got to the second episode. By the end of the first episode, I was like, okay, is she the acolyte before you know they're twins or whatever? Then as we're getting into episode 2, I'm like, is she the same person but with like a split personality disorder, like after what happened or something like that? I'm still kind of not off of that after this episode. I think it's gonna be something weird along that point. That's
I will
something
say
along
this:
those two lines in the combination that's gonna happen. That's gonna be something like that. Go ahead.
unless she has a Jedi ability that allows her to like astral project herself into a physical place, the fact that they were like, well, she attacked Hosen,
Mm-hmm.
the floating
Oh,
Jedi,
Torben.
Torben. She attacked
Yeah.
him while Osha was in their custody. And that's the only reason why they were like, okay, you can go and check that out because we got word that somebody fitting her description, attacked another Jedi temple. So, like, if that's the case, either she's able to mentally, like, put herself somewhere else and physically do it, or, I mean, again, they looked at each other at the end of the second episode, bro. Like, she took a shot at
They
her sister.
both have
All right,
physical presences in there.
So, yeah.
Outside of that one scene, do we ever see them together? Outside of that scene, do we ever see them on screen at the same time?
We can't. That's part of the story. They didn't know that the other one was alive, and one of them still didn't really believe it.
And at the end, when she shot at her, nobody saw them two at the same time.
Soul,
like, none of the other stars, whatever, like actors, whatever. Like nobody.
So you see her.
I can't remember. That's what I'm asking.
You see her shoot at the vehicle, but like clearly missing it, and then Soul is like looking at her like he might have seen her intentionally missing.
Yeah, it looks like there was maybe some question about whether and I couldn't tell if it was like he was questioning whether she missed intentionally or if it was that she hesitated. Like, why did you hesitate? Kind of thing. Like, you didn't necessarily need to shoot her. You could have shot the vehicle. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that, right? Like, there were some other options. But so, like, did you let her go? Kind of thing. I will tell you, I don't think they're the same person. I think that they are twins. The only other reason why I'm saying that is because, again, we have someone saying, I saw her die. And I was able to save one, but couldn't save the other. Now, the question is, what is the secret that these 4 Jedi are trying to keep? Because that also then means that if each of them is, because that's the other part of it, is like, she woke my man up and he was just like, I'm sorry, I owe you, and just drank the poison. Like, I'm like, clearly I'm guilty.
Yeah, something so bad that a Jedi was willing to take his own life.
Right. He was like,
He
I
didn't say
can't.
anything for years until
Yep.
she showed up and took his own life. Yeah.
And like clearly could
Right.
hear her, clearly knew what was going on. And until she said, I can offer you basically peace from what you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? This is it. So again, it is, to me, this is a separate person. The thing that has me, I think, more than anything is like, what is the thing that's so secret? And two of the people who would know that secret are already gone. So how do we / where do we get that flashback unless, again, it happens to our lead character? So like, because like the Wookiee's gotta die, right? He gotta die.
Sadly,
Yeah.
maybe hopefully let's get through this season, and so we can. I don't know,
No.
but
No,
No, sir.
he may get it. He may get an episode. He may survive the next episode, but
listen,
he's
I need to see a little action. What's that Wookiee? But
I will tell you this.
and he'll get killed without a weapon.
When I read the description of the second episode, it says something along the lines of like, she attempts to kill another Jedi, but this time they're there to like thwart her efforts. So I was thinking Slim was gonna make it.
mm-hmm.
Nope. That's clearly not the way you wrote this description, though. You made it seem like. So, like, real talk, I went into the second episode like, all right, let me see how they're going to stop her. You know what I'm saying? Or what are they going to do? So I most certainly didn't think he was going to die. Regardless of how he died, I certainly didn't think he was going to die. And so I was like, I don't like what you're doing here. I don't write it so that I'm thinking something's happening that's not happening. You know, but that's the whole point. And here's the other thing. Have any of you guys watch Russian Doll?
No.
Nope.
I've wanted
Incredible show.
No, I've watched it.
And the showrunner, writer, director, whatever for this show, like she's just known for doing stuff like that, for having like double play and kind of like just based on what that is. So that does have me intrigued in a lot of ways. Right now, I can't think of Daphne Keene's character's name.
Jackie.
I think there's something up with that too. There's like, and again, it could have something to do with Yord.
Mm-hmm.
She's a Padawan. He's not, but she, again, it's that we hate Yord when he's like, we need to do this and do this and do this. And she's like, or we could just do this and send her in because he don't know. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And
Like, I agree.
now Yord look real dumb. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful. You know what I mean? And he's just like S-faced. Yeah, I mean, I'm so intrigued by the story right now. Right? Because I want to know what the Jedi did.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Jedi, it's kind of weird. Technically, only in the original trilogy do I feel like the Jedi were ever really portrayed as like infallible. In every other iteration, you clearly see that like they're fallible. Like they like I don't really think there's any bigger thing than like Palpatine sitting in the same room with them.
And not know.
That's been one of my biggest issues. Like these force feelings they didn't know.
I don't know. My man
was Sith sitting right there giving you orders.
He's been on his Dragon Ball hide your power level, and so no one could.
Bruh.
I don't understand.
His mastery of
part of
the
the grand plan.
Unparalleled. There is nobody in the entire Star Wars universe who has a more powerful mastery of the Force than Palpatine.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yeah.
Because Slim was just walking around.
Even when he quote unquote died, He just came back to life and just hitting the cut, building an army all over again.
Hey, bro,
Bruh.
that don't still caught me all left. I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
what? Why? How? What? Never mind.
And I don't care how you slice it. Also, getting cheeks.
Somewhere along
Yes.
the line, he had time
Some
enough
will
to say,
Old ass got it in.
That
let me take some time to myself.
That's
Hey
enough
Disney,
joke.
we need that series.
That's enough joke. Yeah, yeah.
How Palpatine
cheeks.
got them cheeks. That's the title.
Those cheeks.
How Palpatine got his groove back.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. How Palpatine got his groove back is exactly what it is. Something. So, like, we've seen the Jedi beef out, but like to me, this is like the earliest, like, oh, we did something terrible and we're keeping this secret. And like, maybe nobody knows but the four of them, but I feel like it can't just be the four of them.
I know there's a fifth. I
There's
feel like
always
there's at
that
least
one person that was lurking from the
Yeah.
shadows, and
or somebody that had to go report to. There's somebody else that's in on it. There is.
Who is it going to be important for whomever the Sith is? Is it going to be important for that person to be a character that we know already?
No.
It's not.
I'm gonna be honestly, I feel
That's
like
so
with
far
the
removed from
whole,
it. I don't think so.
it's either that or they're gonna have some relation to someone that we already know, even though it's 100 years beforehand. Because other than keeping the mask on, there's a reason why that mask is on, and we're kind of keeping secret. I feel like, but
Well,
I feel like
again,
it's
I just like to interrupt you.
Mhm.
The fact that like he's probing her mind and he's like, okay, clearly this person has gone to great lengths to keep you from even knowing who they are, which again goes back to Frosty's theory that like he might just be standing in front of them the whole time because Palpatine did the same thing. And that's the hubris slash maybe the like, we don't even need to look at like, we don't even need to consider like clearly it couldn't be Palpatine. Like I'm gonna be honest, like I can't recall whether or not they ever figured that out, but I don't think they did. I don't think they ever figured that out. Yeah.
In which
At all.
trilogy?
At all.
What are you talking about? You mean them figuring out how he made it to the new trilogy, or
No, that Palpatine is in fact the Emperor. Like, I don't feel like anybody ever figured that out.
Anakin figures it out, but then becomes his apprentice, and the only other Jedi to really become aware of it was Mace Windu, who is
got
not
chucked out of a
dead,
window.
but got thrown out of a window.
That's why they changed the name to Mace Window.
Yeah. But then they slaughtered all the Jedi. So even if there was
Mace Window. I'm telling you, that's why that's his name.
You haven't heard that before?
I've never heard that one before.
Mace Window. I'm just saying.
It was right there.
But it continued, Frosty. Yes, he was the only other person who would have known.
And then they slaughtered the rest of the Jedi. So if there was anyone else who might have potentially been around to hear that, highly unlikely. Yeah, they didn't. No normal senator knew, other than I think his assistant.
Well, I guess technically, Yoda. I guess Yoda would have been the one to.
And what's the senator that took care of Leia?
Organa.
Yeah, he knew.
I don't know that he knew.
I feel like he knew
had
because of Yoda.
I think he had an.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because once Yoda figured out, fought him, and then they had the meeting to split the kids up. I feel like that was that conversation and really learning about the Emperor. And yeah, it's just
I don't know how the fight between Palpatine and Yoda completely left my brain.
Yeah, that is a thing. Yeah, he never says it, but I guess it is what it is.
Yeah.
I just, again, like at the place where the Jedi are, feeling like there's no reason to be afraid of anything, even as they're like figuring out the details of like, we need to track this down. There is someone who is killing Jedi, which is nigh impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's funny, even when Indara calls it in, she goes, "We have a force user."
Yeah.
Like that's
Which again is like, and she even says it like,
Radar.
yo, if word gets out that someone who was a Jedi, someone that we trained,
yep.
is out there after us, that would destroy our reputation.
Yep.
Right? So
there's no consideration that this is born outside of their order.
Which it, and the idea is that it might not be. It might be born within their order and someone else who got outside of it, in some way. But clearly the dark side existed before this happened, and they've known that, right? But the force is clearly out of balance. And that is maybe what, again, that's that duality thing of like, these are twins. One is a good force user and one is a light force user and a dark force user. And so the two of them balance each other out. There's a necessity for the two of them maybe to exist.
Only other thing I could think of is that maybe they're getting kind of like the Star Killer treatment, and maybe they're like these two creations per se. Like one went the good path, one went the I just want to throw shit out there at this point.
Yeah, because I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, again, I'm super intrigued by the direction that the show is going, because I do want to know what they're hiding, right? I do want to know why they chose to hide it and who lied to who, right? That like, if there was some sort of a, even when he's talking to Indara and says like, nah, like she's dead though. Like I saw her die though. He could still just be perpetrating the lie that he's already aware of, because that's what they all told them, right? So him even saying it's impossible, but then also sound like, I need to go check this out, cause we probably didn't really, right? Again, that there was a decision maybe that was made to split them up. Huh? Say that again, Sin?
I said by those 4 Jedi that was there. By those 4 Jedi that was there.
Yeah. Right. They were stationed there for whatever reason. The 4 of them were the ones who were stationed there. So they made a decision, it seems like. It's not just, oh, this terrible accident happened. They made a decision. Maybe what they told them was, hey, your sister died, unfortunately, blah, blah, blah. But there also may have been a decision that was made to separate them. Or maybe it was they sensed the dark side within May and were like, this is bad. Because they also said that they were too old to be trained. Like they should not have been trained at the time. Like when Osha started getting trained, she was too old and they should not have started training her. So if they sensed the dark side in May, maybe the decision was made to make it, to try to kill her. Maybe that's what it was. And they were just going to like, look, we can't let this get up out of here. It's got to go. And so maybe they set her up to make it look like that's what happened. Even in her own head, depending on how old they were when it happened.
8.
Is it? Yeah. So even that seems like too old for you to get set up to feel like you were, starting a fire that you didn't know you were starting. But it makes me wonder if May remembers it that way. If she's like, oh. But it also, am I tripping? Didn't he try to tell May like, hey, I tried to save you, or I wanted to save you and I couldn't?
I think so.
I feel like
I didn't rewatch the second one, so
I feel like he said that. So again, that also makes me feel like he believes that
implanted memories.
Yeah. Hey,
By who?
By Sith messing with him.
You think a Sith implanted the memories in all four of those Jedi's minds? Or maybe just him?
It might have just been him. We don't know that they were all together witnessing everything together.
yeah.
They were on
There's
the
a
like I
part
said,
of
planet.
me that
but-
feels like he was not a part of whatever that plan was because maybe they knew he would not have gone along with it.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that feels like the
That's
intention
a
was
vibe
for
on it, too.
all of them to die, and she only survived because he actually went in and saved her, but that's not what was supposed to happen. He wasn't supposed to actually save her. None of them were supposed to get saved. But then it also doesn't explain how, again, if he honestly believed he was going in to save one, that he thought the other one was dead, that he saw it. But then it also begs the question, if they thought one had some sort of a dark, if they sensed something there, one of them is light, one of them is dark, maybe the one he thought he saved isn't who he saved.
mm,
Maybe he saved the wrong twin.
this twin thing is getting.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean,
So many
I'm not mad at it.
possibilities.
well, again, that's to me is what makes it intriguing. So even though like I'm lukewarm on it right now, it's just
Potential.
because the potential is so good, but I'm lukewarm because they could easily mess that up.
I hear episode 3 is really good.
I've heard 3 and 4 are really good.
Okay.
And
I like the sound of
but
that.
Hell
but
yeah.
also I'm hearing people go, I don't like this show at all. It's stupid. And then I'm hearing people go, this is the most incredible thing since Andor, which is like, well,
The
I
people
think
who
that
are
may be.
hating on this show are hating it because of Yord's hair. Like,
Oh
they
God, I've
have to
been
find
seeing
some
like
bullshit to pick on for it. Like,
I mean, people are hating it because May is black. Like that's a
Oh,
thing.
Yeah.
that's it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
People are like there's there's any number of reasons why people are hating it just for the sake. That's almost anything now. Look, let's get some grades. Let's get some straight up for the first two together. Let's not even split them up. Let's put some grades on it. Frosty, I'm gonna let you go first.
are we doing 1 to 10? A, B, C?
You start it. Whatever you start with, we're gonna follow suit.
I
However
gave
you
both episodes on Black Squadron. I gave both of them a 10. It's a 10 for me.
okay.
I'm wholly invested.
I'm expecting
I dig it.
something
Jokes?
similar with each one. I'm at a 7 right now. I'm
Okay.
I'm okay. I like what I got. I need a little bit more, but I'm at a 7.
Sincere 619.
I did serve at an 8 on these episodes. I enjoyed
Okay.
them. I agree. I think there's a lot of potential, but also it's easy to mess it up, as we've seen before with television, Star Wars properties, and so forth. So my fingers are crossed. I'm liking where it is right now, and I'm just hoping it stays on the uphill track. So I'm at 8.
So I think I'm in the middle. I think I'm at like a 7.5.
Hmm.
I think I think that there is potential for me to like these 2 episodes better
Once everything
after like the next
further.
episode comes
Yeah.
out, or like I do feel like a lot of times these shows now, because of the way that they are crafted specifically for streaming services, it is much harder to grade them individually and completely feel the same about them by the time the project is done.
Absolutely.
These feel much more to me like movies that you haven't gotten to see the whole thing yet. They don't even really feel like regular television series to me, where like from episode to episode, then you like at the end you grade the whole. It feels to me like, well, we've only seen the first quarter of the project, and right now I think that if I was watching this I will tell you this: if they had put the whole thing out, I would have binged the
A
whole
bench.
thing.
Oh
Oh no
yeah,
wonder.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I would have taken off
Just
work.
because I need to, I am in a place where I'm like, I have so many questions that I think are really good questions, right? That
Mhm.
are like, all right, where are we going with this? What did the Jedi do? Who actually knows? Who is this Sith? Where did he get a red lightsaber? Talk to me about the yellow lightsabers.
Find
Why,
out on the next episode of
there,
Star Wars The Acolyte.
yeah, there are so many things. I am waiting for them to like do something that bothers me, like again, tie it to somebody we already know. You know what I mean? In some way or something like that, where I'm just
Mm.
like,
This is
they have
dumb.
this freedom to not tie this to anything we
Right,
already
bring in a new character, and yeah,
No,
yeah,
yeah,
just
yeah.
run
Let it
amok with
breathe.
it.
Let it live on its own.
But the other thing I feel like is there's a potential here for them to. I have been saying for a long time that the problem with Star Wars is that Jedi weren't cool anymore. Kids just don't care. Like they're just not. There are so many things. Like kids now grow up on anime,
Hmm.
and they've grown up with the MCU and seeing like actual like people do things that like well everybody can do stuff. There's all kinds of people with powers and whatever, right? And so like the opportunity to make a Jedi or any character, Sith or otherwise, that lives within this universe stand out and be cool and be someone who, like, when they go to Disney, that's a character they will be amped to see walking around the park kind of thing.
Hmm.
There's a potential with this show to do that in a way that just they have not been able to do because they've been so tied to the Skywalkers. And now they can do something different.
I mean, Mandalorian, Ahsoka, those shows, I think helped bring out a different side of Star Wars that made it cool again, essentially.
Right.
But
They've been
definitely not like,
they've been walking the path.
yeah.
But like I'm sure there are kids who like Ahsoka. I just really think that it's adults who like Ahsoka. I know that there are kids who like I think the potential of Ahsoka as a character that young people really like hinged much more on the teenage version of her that we saw in animation.
Hmm.
Because I do think for a lot of especially young girls, that's why Ray resonated the way she resonated because she was a young girl. Ahsoka, as we know her right now in live action, has none of what made her so great and interesting as a Padawan. Just being kind of free and open minded and like all of those things, all of that's gone in this version of her that we're getting now in live action because she's much more muted, much more stoic,
Yeah,
barely smiles, doesn't emote at all, really. Like it's just like those things I think make her less attractive as a character for young people to get in touch with. For those of us who have known the character for a long time, it's cool to kind of see what she grew into based on what we know she went through.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But if you're young now, like you didn't go through that journey with them, and so I think the character doesn't resonate the same way. Here, you have Padawans, young Padawans who are brand new, who are, you know what I mean? You have Jedi Knights who you've never heard of before, who, they're in a place where they can introduce new abilities that, a Jedi may have that nobody else we've ever really seen used before, or
Hmm.
something like that. And so
Different color lightsabers. There's like, yeah.
there's a lot of potential for them to do things here and explore things that really could push it again in ways they just haven't, which is why I think that Osha as a character is such an important character that one of them may have to die.
Mm-hmm.
And it can't, you know what I mean? And like, if they did a twist where Osha turned out to be the bad one, I think that ruins it. If you're a kid and you're watching this now, I think that completely ruins it.
I mean, so the whole goal of from the director was that this is more of like a dark thriller horror type like show. So it's not, I don't know that they're necessarily going to be focusing on like, we're going to target kids with this one. Yeah.
And here's the thing. Even in a horror movie, you have a protagonist who like comes out on top in the end. You stay with that character the whole time. If you don't know Sydney from Scream, like what were you doing? You know what I mean? Like that's even in that situation,
Sidney Prescott.
You pull for a character and you want to see them pull through. You know what I mean? Like and if they do that, if they persevere, it's like, listen, I'm just trying to live my life, like doing the most dangerous thing I can think of. I'm magnetic boots, walking on starships, like we don't even need. We don't need droids out here.
She's doing a dangerous job under the name OSHA. That was something we laughed about.
Oh, exactly.
It's literally Occupational Health and Safety Act.
Straight up. It's terrible.
You are a hazard.
I do think that there's a lot of potential here. I'm super intrigued to see where it goes. I can't wait to talk to you guys next week.
Agreed.
I just can't. I really want to see what they do with it. Really looking forward to it. So
I'm definitely gonna run these two back before next week. I want to.
Yeah, I might do it tonight, but we shall see. All right, we're gonna wrap this episode up. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. For myself, for Frosty, for Jokes, for Sin, this has been your Spoiler Boys episode for Star Wars The Acolyte, episodes 1 and 2. We're out. Toodles and loos.
Loading snacks.